When we say Naga, you are just thinking of a snake that lives in these hills or elsewhere. Well, that is one part of it. Why, as you see, Adiyogi has Naga upon his shoulder, because Adiyogi is making a statement, he is as good as me in perception, because it's perception which determines who you are in this world. Whether your perception is superficial or your perception is profound, makes you who you are or who you're not. So as a part of this, both many forms of… energetic forms of Nagas were created and left loose in this cosmos. Some of them, these manifestations are made by human beings, but there are many other manifestations of Naga which are not of human origin. We do not know who created them, definitely not human beings, but they are floating around in the cosmos and doing their own thing. Whoever wants to perceive, whoever wants to dig deeper into life, for them it's always been available. As in the video we were saying, every major event in my life is always punctuated with the presence of Naga. I didn't seek this, it always happened. In the early part of my life, when I started closing my eyes, I didn't do anything particular, just close my eyes, the need to open my eyes was gone. So if I sat in a place somewhere in some hills or some forest, 4 or 5 hours if I sat with my eyes closed, when I opened there would be 12, 15 cobras sitting there and waiting. They were my first disciples, but they were not my disciples, I was the disciple. Because it took me some time to realize that they are perceiving something more easily than I'm trying to perceive. In a much simpler way, they're able to perceive. It took some time for me to keep the human part of my intellect down and just perceive things like a Naga. It is since then, many things happened, and today all that is happening out of that. So this is the first consecrated Naga that we have created. In the last 800 years, this kind of consecration has not happened. There are 12 dimensions of Naga which are worshipped in India. These are called Ananta, Vasuki, Shesha, Padma, Kambala, Karkotaka, Ashvatara, Dhritarashtra, Sankapala, Kaliya, Takshaka and Pingala. These are the 12 aspects. These 12 aspects also relate to the 12 aspects of the calendar, the 12 aspects of the stars and stuff that people read. In various cultures, literally across the world, you see symbolisms, proof, symbolic proof. From 20,000 years onwards, you will see various artifacts around the world showing how snake played an important part in their mystical journey of those tribes in variety of places, from Russia to China, of course India, Africa, Egypt, Greece, South America, North America, everywhere you have serpent symbolism representing this. And in North America, we discovered there is a 400-meter long serpent mound in Ohio, 400 meters long, overlooking a very big crater which could have happened either because of an asteroid hit or maybe a gas burst, they're saying, we do not know how it happened. But a 400-meter long serpent built with mud, a mound, it's a serpent mound. So, various people across the world have come to this not by transportation of cultures, that also has happened, but that is not the reason why it's happened. Wherever people perceived something beyond five senses, wherever people spent time, more eyes closed, pratyahara essentially. Pratyahara means you withdrew your senses. Wherever pratyahara happened, wherever withdrawal of sense happened, there Naga lived. There they recognized the significance of this dimension of evolutionary residue which remains within us and how we can activate that and how it can become a process of one's evolution beyond the limitations of one's senses. The snake which is around Shiva's throat is referred to as Vasuki, but the Vishnu's snake is referred to as Shesha. If you do not know this, those of you who learnt early part of your school, you did in local languages in southern India. If you did, either in… I do not know what's the word in Tamil, but in Telugu and Kannada, if you're learning mathematics, Shesha means remainder. In mathematics, it's a common thing, Shesha. So that is the word that is used for this, because this snake or this serpent represents the Shesha, or what is always a remainder of when a certain creation ends, certain things remain, a certain core aspect remains, which once again germinates into another creation. So it is upon this Shesha that Vishnu rests. That means when he is resting, when there is no creation to maintain, he is resting on Shesha, what is remainder. Adi-Shesha uncoils and time moves forward. This is the mythology about it. This means the remainder that is left from the previous creation stays, and when it begins to uncoil, it is called as Adi-Shesha because it's the first reminder which is there, and it uncoils means another creation begins to happen. So this is a very profound aspect of life expressed in symbolic ways. So this Nagapanchami or Nagapanchami today represents all this in the month of Shravana, on the fifth day. This is the day which is very significant for those who want to penetrate and know life beyond their physicality, beyond their senses. Those who want to know, for them, this aspect of evolutionary reminder within you is very, very important. Otherwise, it doesn't really function whether you actually relate to the symbolism or not, but you have to invigorate that dimension. Your Adi-Shesha has to begin to uncoil and move if you want to know aspects beyond five senses, aspects beyond physical nature. The Naga represents that dimension which cannot be perceived by the senses. If your interests have risen beyond survival, if your longings have gone beyond survival process of earning a living, food, sleep, comfort, reproduction and safety and being better than somebody else, if these things you have crossed, if you have transcended the basic longings of survival in some way, then Naga becomes super relevant to you, because now all that matters is enhancement of the life that you are. Enhancement of life can happen by enhancing one's energies, which will need a lot of work. One has to work for it internally. But enhancement of perception can happen in many different ways. Naga are connecting with this energy, with this form, with this phenomena that we refer to as Naga, is one of the simplest ways to delve into profound nature of the existence. Can't I do it without Naga? Yes, you can, but how many will do it? That's a question. How many would travel 1,000 kilometers without an automobile? How many would be able to fly from one place to another without an airplane? So, Without creating instruments of access, most human beings will not be able to access. Then why are we folding our hands and bowing down? You must understand this. Anything that you use for your well-being, you must address it in a certain way. If you take a musician, he will treat his instruments in such a way that he bows down before he uses it. If you watch a farmer, he bows down to the land upon which he works because it produces food for him and he understands it's his life. We bow down to the very food that we eat because we understand it's the basis of our life. If you do not have a certain sense of devotion, then you do not have the needed focus to access. So, do not misunderstand devotion or the power of devotion as simply idolatry or idol worship. This is not about idolatry or idol worship, this is about generating the necessary focus. Tell me, are you capable of keeping your mind absolutely focused on something if you're not emotionally hooked onto it? So, without that, there is no focus, without focus, there is no access. Naga has always been the mystical access to the profoundness of our own existence and the secrets of the universe.
Snakes hold a significant amount of respect in many spiritual cultures around the globe. This may translate into various forms, including transformation, protection, creation, and duality. The presence of snakes can be seen spanning continents and throughout the history of mankind. We can easily see snake symbols on various artifacts around the world. Serpent symbolism can be found in Bharat or India as we know, Africa, China, Egypt, Russia, Greece, North America, and South America. You can see cultures drawing various metaphors from a snake's life. For example, shedding of snake's skin is drawn comparison to renewal or even sometimes as immortality. Many people also refer the serpent to cycle of life, death, and rebirth. When you look at the concept of Kundalini energy, there is a serpent at the base of the spine, which is known as a coiled snake. The spiritual enlightenment is depicted as awakening of this serpent. In Hinduism, snakes are often associated with protective forces and cycles of time. Nagas are also seen as protectors of treasures, deities, and cosmic beings. Mysticism and snakes cannot be separated. In most Indian temples, you would find a snake idol. When celestial beings who are superior to humans in consciousness and capability entered our existence, they always took the form of a snake. There is also mention of Nagalokas in the netherworld, which is a whole society of snakes and human beings which belong to the snake clan. Maharishi Patanjali, who is the father of modern yoga and author of celebrated Yoga Sutras, is depicted in a half-human, half-snake form. In Buddhism, Mukhalinda, which is a snake or a Naga, can be seen shielding meditating Buddha, which highlights the snake as a divine protector. In many cultures, snakes were linked to rain, fertility, and creative force of nature. In other ancient civilizations, snakes were linked to ancestral knowledge and wisdom, while for some, snakes were a connection to the spiritual realms. Hindus celebrate a festival called as Nagapanchami to worship Nagas, which symbolizes their reverence for nature, cosmic balance, and protection. According to devotees, Nagas bring prosperity and protects against evil. Worshipping Nagas honors their cosmic role in maintaining balance. This festival shows deep-rooted tradition of respecting nature and its creatures as part of spiritual and materialistic life. So, we think this video would have provided you with some insights regarding the role of Nagas or serpents in spiritual cultures. Do share your thoughts in the comment section. Also, Like and share this video if you gained some wisdom from this video. Thank you for your valuable time. Namaskaram.